We're going to begin with Birds of Prey, or the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yes.
Because they had to change the name because nobody knew what Birds of Prey meant.
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, it is of course traditional to start any review of a DC Comics-based film by pointing out what a terrible mess DC and Warner have made of them. And there's probably not much point reiterating that any further, except to say that we now apparently have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker existing in the same multiverse as Jared Leto's Joker from the execrable Suicide Squad, to which this outing, Birds of Prey and the yada yada yada, is a really loose, barely connected sequel. Like most things DC, it's best not to think about it too hard. So Margot Robbie returns as the psychiatrist-turned-villain Harley Quinn, dealing with the emotional fallout of breaking up with her puddin, the Joker. Not just emotional, as it turns out, as her violent antics over the past few years have peeved a number of Gotham's most dangerous characters, who now see an opportunity for vengeance as she's shorn of the Joker's protection. People like Ewan McGregor's Robin Sionis, a nightclub owner come crime lord under the Black Mask moniker. While he wants her dead, he's also much more interested in the MacGuffin family diamond, which apparently has the key to a secret account of much wealth or something, which happens to have been lifted by a young cut purse, Ella J. Brasco's Cassandra Cain. Meanwhile, Rosie Perez's detective, Renee Montoya, is trying to build a case against Sionis, much to the disbelief of her supposed superiors. Meanwhile, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's Helena MacGuffin, or the Huntress as she styles herself, is looking for vengeance for Sionis for the massacre of the MacGuffin crime family back in the day. Meanwhile, Journey Smollett's Belle's Dina Lance, or Black Canary, as we'll see later, is chafing under the employ of the increasingly unhinged Sionis, first as a singer in the club, before being promoted to Sionis' driver, working alongside Chris Messina's nutball killer Victor Zsasz. There was a lot of meanwhiles in that last paragraph, as despite Birds of Prey doing its best to distract you with its non-linearity and visual stylings, this is not so much a plot as it is a bunch of things that happen next to each other, obfuscating a frankly too simple premise to hang a film off. However, you could argue that's a welcome change of place from comic book movies' typical overplotting, particularly as this has had the good grace to come in well under 2 hours. So, if narrative is your bag, then this bag is too small for you. However, I must say I'm more or less on board with the rest of it. Margot Robbie and Ewan McGregor's chewing their way through all of the scenery did not fail to delight me, and the action sequences and the fight choreography are on point. The over-the-top riot of colours and overproduction that Cathy Yan in the film goes for is, I suppose, something that will prove divisive, but any film that reminds me of Dredd and Crank is going to find some purchase with me. So this is by no rationale a good movie, whatever that means. But for me at least, it's a very enjoyable movie that was worth taking a butcher's at. What do you make of this one then?
Meh.
It's a standard DC comic response, isn't it? Meh.
Yeah. I would like to say that anything in DC Universe that isn't Batman is really dull, but that's not quite fair because I actually really enjoyed Wonder Woman, and I've not seen it myself yet, but you were quite fond of Aquaman, I believe.
I quite like Aquaman. I quite like Shazam as well.
Oh, there is actually. Shazam was good. But yeah, I don't know, the further you get away from the central characters, they seem to have less interest.
I mean, it's no Captain Boomerang, of course.
No. Yeah. And plus side, no Jai Courtney in this film, so there's that. This just, I don't know. I didn't dislike the film particularly. It didn't do an awful lot for me.
Yeah. I can totally see if I was in a different mood when I watched it, it would have just bounced off me because it's so much style over substance that, that there's really nothing to it other than sort of the cutaways and glossy nature of it. But for whatever reason, that kind of clicked with me on that day. Any number of other days, it could have met with a large wall of no.
I mean, there are bits and pieces of it I liked. It's weird. I remember thinking that. It happened a couple of weeks ago, so I didn't have to struggle that much. But I was thinking, when I seen some of the trailers for this, that I was just going to find Harley Quinn intolerable. That really annoying kind of extra strong accent. And then I rewatched Suicide Squad last week before this.
Dear Lord, why?
Well, I had to remember thinking it was okay. Like, no more than that, but I didn't hate it as much as everybody else hated it. And I watched it again. It's like, my God, this is terrible. But it's actually one of the better things in it.
True.
And the accent actually, and the character isn't as annoying as I had expected to be. That it feels from the trailers like it's going to be. And I felt similarly in this. It's just that, I don't know. I don't find that character particularly interesting. It's certainly not likeable.
No.
I mean, she's a villain, so she's not supposed to be, but then again, for this film to work, really needs to be. And so, yeah, there are bits and pieces I like. There's some funny moments, and I quite like some of the visual style. But I think the film's biggest problem is the script, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Again, pretty much the case for a lot of DC Universe stuff. But none of the characters are actually given any character. There's Cop Lady and there's Singer Lady and there's Thief Child, and they don't have any character.
Yeah.
So that was one of the problems for me. And my other big problem, I think, was... Oh, no, it's actually finishing the script, because some of the dialogue is just honking. And you don't necessarily expect great dialogue from a comic film, but it's just so weird, and it has the feel of something written for what somebody thought was a clever line for the moment without any kind of cohesiveness for the thing as a whole. I mean, and I understand that other people may not be bothered by this, but as an example of that, they set up the young child, Cassandra Cain, despite living in Gotham City, has somehow never heard of the Joker, right? Yet somehow understands who and what Robin Hood was, and it uses bows and arrows. Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. And again, see, I've fallen into the trap, Scott, of thinking about one of these films. But yeah, and then really strange things again. Like it seems like somebody thought, this would be quite a clever line when Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character is shooting people with a crossbow, and somebody keeps referring to it like as a bow and arrow or something. Stop it! It's a crossbow, not a bow and arrow. What do you think? I'm 12. That's right, because bow and arrows are toys, not lethal. No, just no. And my other major issue with it is tone. And it feels like it wants to be a dark film, something like, say, Watchmen, which is more of your darker comic book film, right? And, I mean, within this world, Scott, okay.
Yeah.
I know you're not convinced, but I mean, there's darker stuff in Watchmen than there is in, say, Batman and Robin or something. And actually, something about the soundtrack feels like it was trying to be a Watchmen style soundtrack that would have fitted that film more. Here, though, you've got at one moment Ewan McGregor's characters instructing people to cut people's faces off, terrifying and humiliating a woman in the middle of a nightclub, and then the next moment, like, looking all pained and worried like a cartoon character. And there was a few bits of like weird juxtaposition there that just didn't sit right with me at all. And it was like, we've got this really throwaway, silly comic book film, and we're going to make it R-rated because we'll just stick a bunch of swearing and violence in, but it doesn't actually work with the film either. You kind of commit to being a bit darker. And you can have humour, certainly, but I don't know, for me, it seemed too cartoony, a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they've thought, let's do a Deadpool. That's what they're trying to do with this. That's why some of the bits are a bit more violent. But yeah, I suppose I can see where you're coming from. Some of the torture scenes, although it is very short, it almost seems like it's from a draft of the film that was like a very early draft or something that didn't quite get edited properly. But yeah, it wasn't frequent enough for me to really notice it, I don't think. Now you point out, I suppose I can see that, but yeah. I think the rest of it is so over the top and stupid that it didn't occur to me that was anything more than an outlier that could be safely ignored. The rest of it is just plain silly.
But it's,
I mean, she's got a pet hyena called Bruce Wayne. It's a daft film.
I know. I think that's why it bothers me more, though, because, and again, my mood today when I watched it was fairly low. And honestly, I was just really tired. That may have played into a little bit. But I think it's possible that another day, the idea that a main plot point was about an egg and bacon sandwich might have actually amused me. Whereas in this, it kind of irritated me. And that's because you've got people having their faces sliced off.
Yeah.
They don't go together particularly well. And also perhaps had memories of Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad, which I had, apparently through self-protection, forgotten how bad it was. And that was not nice to be reminded of last week.
What you mean? You forgot the whole 3.5 minutes that he's in Suicide Squad?
And every second of it is appalling. Yeah, and I don't know. Then I'm not a comic book guy, so I don't really know much about these characters. I'm getting most of my knowledge on them from the Rocksteady Arkham games.
Yeah.
But I understand the idea is that Victor Zsasz is like terrifying serial killer. Each scar on his body is representative of one woman he's murdered and probably done something or other else to before murdering them. In this film, the guy
just
playing,
a thug. Yeah,
he's basically henchman number one, who also seems to fancy Ewan McGregor. I was like, okay.
To be fair.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ewan McGregor still is a hell of a good-looking guy, but I'm not sure it fits for that character, you know. So yeah, I didn't think it was bad. I was watching most of it just kind of, I don't know, fairly flatly.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't like I was not enjoying it. And there weren't as many points as my rewatch of Suicide Squad early in the week when I was going, wait a minute, that's really dumb. That's really dumb. My God, Jared Leto's terrible. That is also really dumb. So there's more to like than there is in Suicide Squad, which is basically just Will Smith, and actually because Will Smith is Will Smith, you know.
Yeah.
Him and Margot Robbie a bit. Yeah, I don't know. On the upside, it isn't Deadpool.
Yeah.
So it's got that going for at least, especially not Deadpool 2.
Yeah. Although I think meh seems to be pretty much the general reaction to it as well. There'll be a few people who really, really love it, and most people will kind of go meh, which seems to be what both it and its box office figures would imply. So
I don't regret having seen it. You know, there was enough enjoyment in there, even if. Actually, I would have really liked to have seen more of Black Canary because I really like that actor. I think she's really great.
Yeah.
And despite the fact she's the one bit that seems to become supernatural towards the end, that was out of place. But again, that's a script problem. Yeah,
you almost forget it's a comic book superhero movie until that point, in which case it kind of comes out of nowhere. Bit odd.
Okay. I mean, this actually, it's kind of weird for it actually being a sort of semi-sequel to Suicide Squad because it's got an actual alien witch god thing.
Yes.
And a fireman.
Yeah.
And all the metahumans and stuff. So that's actually was a really big point of Suicide Squad, and also a bank robber for reasons.
And even then, Harley Quinn's special ability is what hitting people with a baseball bat.
Yeah, it's very unique that nobody else can do that. A scrawny little woman hitting people with a baseball bat. Is she sure how much damage she's going to do to a bigger man, for instance? But it's weird that apart from that one instance in the entire film, it's dropped that entirely.
Yeah,
it's quite strange. But I don't regret my time with it. It's just meh.
Yeah.
I know that's perhaps a little unfair. I think it's probably more than meh, but
it's maybe meh plus.
Yeah. I was slightly aware that I use meh a lot, and I know people can criticise that for being sort of like not portraying any particular feeling, which is quite clearly not the case. I've talked a lot about this already, so but
people want you to either unrestrictedly love or unrestrictedly hate everything in the world, and it's just not realistic. Some things just are okay.
Yes,
this is one of them. Yeah.
I hear that. There's no middle ground in emotion anymore, apparently. I wouldn't recommend it particularly, though. I think if you're going to watch other DC stuff, there is better stuff. Shazam is considerably better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're in the mood for some of the more experimentally comic book stuff, then give it a look in. If you like some of the kind of weirder action films, I'd say give it a look. But yeah, I think it's hard to give out a blanket recommendation for general audiences. Yeah.